1.
Tết chỉ nên hú nào mà cũng giúp thao đi lờ. Cha yo nè nu sang nhẹ trong lòng cái mồm là sư, cô chỉ thao đi lờ. Kia nữ và ô rồi tam bảo lên đại kia nữ mà bơi đi lên sư.
My mom was at the farm that night, helping my dad with the harvest. But after a heated argument, her stubbornness got the better of her. Instead of sleeping in the small wooden hut with my dad, she walked off to the truck nearby and decided that's where she'll sleep for the night. The air was heavy and still, filled only with the faint hum of crickets and the far-off croak of frogs from the rice paddies.
Ôi, cha mà nó yo nó tam bảo lên nó này. Tết nó mà cha yo chọn đun đi. Cha cứ ít kia yo số luôn đi cũng chỉ tao luôn kia đi. Ta chỉ mà chạy nó mà cha lo, cũng chỉ cảm ơn cho nên thông được bự ní lên cọ nữ trong lúc xé lo. Kia cũng nó cho lúc biệt đánh hè, kia trong lúc mình đâu có lo sự.
She grabbed her phone and searched up Zhonglu's Facebook page. Whenever my mom watches Zhonglu on live, it stops her thoughts from drifting onto anything. After about an hour of watching the live, her eyes were starting to harden, so she turned off the phone. Still tossing and turning, she just couldn't get herself to fall asleep in this uncomfortable car position. Every sound outside seemed louder in the silence. Frustrated, she sat up and looked out the window. A small petite figure in the distance caught her eyes. It was slowly making its way toward her. The woman was dressed in traditional Hmong clothes, the 7 green striped sleeves catching the moonlight with every step. My mom blinked, rubbed her eyes, and looks again. The figure keeps coming closer. Her heart was pounding. Something about the way the woman walks feels familiar. The posture, the small frame, and the way her hands swayed at her side. And then it hit her. It wasn't just anyone. It was Grandma. But how? Grandma had already passed away so many years ago. She couldn't believe it. Fear sweeps through her. Her whole body went cold. She quickly reached for the car lock and clicked it shut, her hands trembling. Outside, the figure just keeps coming closer and closer until it stands right beside the car. My mom held her breath. Then, gently, my grandma placed both hands on the window and leaned in, as if trying to peek inside. Her face was calm, her voice soft, the same familiar tone my grandma always used.
Nha, ôi cha có bữa đã chỉ sáng ở trong nó na, chỉ trong nó, có chỉ tháo bữa này nó, bữa này chỉ tháo xí chào.
The knocks on the window jolted her awake. Her heart was racing. Her forehead damp with sweat, and she looked around. The car was empty, and the night was just still. It was just a dream, but it felt too real. The smell of the earth, the warmth of that tone, it lingered. Without hesitation, she climbed out of the car and went straight into the farm hut. My dad was already asleep. She went and lay down right beside him, wrapped her arms around him, holding him close until dawn. The next morning, my mom sat quietly with her tea, thinking about the dream from the night before. The images were still sharp in her mind. The striped Hmong clothes, the soft voice, the hands pressed against the window. She knew deep in her heart that Grandma hadn't come to frighten her, but to protect her. Even though she was a little frightened, Grandma meant no harm, and she knew that. My dad came and sat next to my mom as she sipped her tea, lost in thoughts.
Thao, có xí xé phải cho cô vợ, nằm mò nhà lo ông bảo số cho cô vợ.
Ê, có hậu ông bảo số lịch chán à?
Các bao na, tại nhà chính đó bên nhau lời lo, nè những chừng bảo hữu bảo giờ bây giờ được họ. Nè mà sáng trong ưu sứ nè tiề, có cú sắp bự sáng nòng rong. Ê, có ưu chỉ sao xí xí cả.
Nè, cô tư à tiề, có cho hợp tính cho nó nè. Nè khá lên lo chạy con à.
Cú tên dâu, có xí phải na, cú tư tiề có cho và luôn có một à. Có bốn giờ tao hai tiề thôi ý một sai hay, là tư hai tiề có những chuyện một sớm mong là tao nè yêu, em có thân chơi.
Cô bố lờ mà, cô thật xíu con nhé. Thì cô ghi lưng xưa.
They both laughed quietly. My mom playfully nudged his shoulder, but her eyes shimmered with something softer, relief, and comfort. The kind that comes when you realize the people you lost never really left you. Story 2. Back in the Hmong villages of Thailand and Laos, there's an old saying, whispered from elder to elder, if you have a beautiful daughter or someone who's gifted, never praise them too loudly. The words aren't meant as modesty, they're a warning. In these hills, words travel like smoke on a cold morning. You never know where a rumor might drift or whose ears it might just find. Sometimes it reaches people, strangers, and wanderers, but sometimes the old ones say it reaches other things, beings that move unseen, spirits that listen from edges of our world, entities drawn to brilliance like moths to a flame. My grandfather, Li Zhang, was one of those rare souls the elders warned about. In our village, everyone knew him as the most skilled craftsman, a man who could carve anything, from Hmong knives, hunting traps, bows and arrows, fishing tools, even weapons once thought forgotten. If you could dream it, my grandfather's hands could make it real. But his skill didn't stop at the forge. In the forests and mountains, he moved like an animal himself, patient, silent, deadly. Some said he was born with the scent of the hunt in his blood. He was one of the best hunters in the village. People used to say my Grandpa Lee could read the forest like a map. When he walked into the woods with his bow and knife, he never came back empty-handed. Because of him, my family never knew the ache of hunger. While other homes sometimes went without, ours always had a scent of meat roasting over the fire. They said when a man's skills shine too bright, it draws attention, not just from the men, but from other things. That perhaps it wasn't only the forest watching him, but something else too. And so, though he never spoke of it, the old warning hung over him like a shadow. Do not draw attention. Do not speak of his name too loudly, because somewhere out there, beyond the smoke of cook fires, someone or something might be listening. One night after hunting, my grandpa came home with a squirrel and some birds he had caught. That night, my grandma noticed how pale he looked.
Thao, o cha có yếu đang chơi tham bảo lý con à.
Sure cha cái nhà, tia nu nó hỗ trợ sự cho trong thế ra của ta khó thổi mày sữa.
Chia của mà lý hậu ít học qua đi cho con nó, có cả chim ra đây nó mòn nữa.
After eating some rice porridge, my grandpa headed straight into bed. By dawn, something was wrong. He could barely open his eyes. His body burned like it held a hidden fire. Days passed, but the fever did not break. My grandma knew this was not an ordinary sickness. She could feel it in her bones. This was something else. So she sought out the village shaman. A ceremony was prepared, drums and chants echoing deep into the night. When the shaman finished, he said that we will have to change my grandpa's name. There are things that want to take him, that they have taken interest in my grandpa. Changing his name is a way to confuse the spirits and to hide his soul from whatever haunted it.
Cô tiêu mua quả tao lời, nên chỉ tháo chơi à, chỉ nu nào mù, nhưng yêu chiều trong nữa. Nên yêu chiều trong hạt tiệt, yêu chiều xin nữ luôn bị chết sự.
Ô có cho nó đâu à, chỉ nên cụ chỉ bỏ cái tiền, bây giờ ô có cho đi cha, chuyện không muốn lo lục hóa xứ lo có chỉ sao sao đi cha.
Nhưng chúa cha li à.
Afterward, the fever broke. His eyes cleared and life went on, or so we thought. Not long after, my family moved to the US. I still remember our first house, a small, quiet place at the end of a long dirt road. 2 houses sat there, ours and my dad's first cousin's home, my uncle's house. For years, we lived peacefully, the kind of quiet that makes you forget old warnings. But then my grandpa began to grow weak again. His health slipped. He laid in bed for days, pale and silent. We all felt it. His time was coming soon. The night before he passed away was different, disturbing. Around 2 or 3 in the morning, my uncle was still awake. He heard it first. 3 short, loud knocks at his door. Not frantic, just deliberate. Like someone testing. He froze in his track.
Ôi, ôi chà, trong đôi nít tam bộ nó lên tí trường tốt khó của ở trong này.
Something inside him whispered, "Do not open the door." So he quickly turned off all the lights, his heart thudding. For a moment, it was silence. Then the knocks came again, louder this time. Gathering his courage, my uncle crept to the door and peeked through the peephole. That's when he saw them. 2 little girls, no taller than 3 feet. They wore Hmong clothes, the kind you only see during ceremonies.
Cũng nhiều cô chị ơi, ya bọn trong sứ ô, chào lô.
Bonzong, which are female ghosts that looks like little kids. As soon as he saw them, the bonzong darted off. My uncle rushed to the window watching. They ran down the dirt road, straight to my family's house. They stopped at our door and knocked. They stood there about 3 long minutes, motionless, then ran back to his door again. Back and forth they went, from his house to ours, from ours to his, as if playing some dark, silent game. Finally overwhelmed, my uncle left the window and retreated to his bedroom. He shut the door, lay down, and forced himself to sleep, praying morning would come quickly. And it did. So did the news. My grandpa passed away at dawn. After we jubilee from my grandpa, which is a traditional Hmong soul release ceremony, it usually takes place 12 days after the burial. This is to help the deceased soul find its proper place in the afterlife. My uncle finally told my dad the truth.
Chẳng đã, có chỉ sao xa đi chạy của hai cho lưu non nữa. Giờ của hai tô, tê lò xe có, tê lò chỉ trong lông lò, của chính tôi hai tia chính nhau có bao. Mà ổn đây ủa rõ yếu xiên đó, của bỏ ở tôi mình nhỏ bông trong, lò khó này lúc họ trong ý mong gạo. Là cú lò khó này luôn này chỉ khi, kể lò khó của lúc họ trong, kể ổn nó ý mong gạo của những chỉ tao nó kia liều.
Ô, chơi tiêu của chị, những chuyện đi của chị sống hồ đi tiêu liều. Cô cũng cho tao tiệt, thà bị thấy tê cô mua lên nọ đồ lò lời. Cô mua mì ở bên trong lò rõ biết ai bắt chị tao. Chơi của chị sống hồ chỉ sống ấy. Cô chị, thế li lò sống li nọ. Tất nhiên mà, tại đi kia lò ô có cháu có sẵn khai cụ tiêu.
That's when my dad knew that my grandpa couldn't escape it. However, no matter where my grandpa may have gone after the night, my dad always believed one thing. He would never harm his own blood. My grandpa's soul would never turn against his own family. In life, he had always protected us. In death, my dad believed he would do the same. There are days when the sun feels heavy and the world weighs on his shoulders. On those days, my dad burns 3 sticks of incense and nails, whispering prayers to my grandpa, and somehow, some way, his wishes always come true. To my dad, it isn't just a coincidence. It's proof that my grandpa still walks with us, unseen, but not gone. Proof that even if the bonzong came for his body, they could not take his heart or the love that binds him to his family. I also wanted to add something else. There's a saying in Hmong that says, this, I think, could be a possibility that happened to my grandpa because we are the Hmong. If you know more about this saying or superstitions, I would love to hear about your thoughts and comments about it. Okay, thank you so much, you guys, for taking your time again to listen to my stories. If you have not yet, please subscribe to my channel. I'm almost at 1K, so I'm super excited. But please don't forget to like, comment, and share if you enjoyed the story. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.